What is the dumbest thing you've ever seen anyone do? I think that Ja Morant is in any discussion. Now, I don't want to be prone to hyperbole, okay, because there's been lots of dumb things done. But when you get suspended by the NBA for flashing a gun at a club in Denver, which causes an entire national conversation, and then after going through some form of counseling, you return to the NBA and want to be promoted as a changed man. You do the interviews and you go around and you claim that you're a changed guy. Then you play, and you play well, but not to the level that you were playing at previously or in previous years. Your team gets beaten. You don't play great. You had one game, the game I was at, where he dominated scoring-wise in the fourth quarter, but he scored like 22 points in a row. But for the most part, didn't take over in that series at all. Gets beaten, and now there's all kinds of questions about that team's future. You go from that place to an IG video where you're rolling around, listen to music. It's fine. It's the summer or whatever. But it's the same music, and now you're flashing a gun. Like, I don't think anyone had a different reaction than the one I had, which is, are you an idiot? Right? And it's one of those things where you're not the idiot where you can't put a sentence together. You're not the idiot where you just don't have the ability for cognitive thought. We all know people in our lives where you're just like, hey, look, he's just not that smart. That's not Ja. Hey, Ja appears to be a really bright guy. Plus, I mean, look, he's fooled a lot of people for a long time. Either he's trying to fool people with this gangster persona, or he's fooled people with the I'm a good guy persona. Whatever he's trying to do, he's fooled a lot of people. He's basically like two lives. Right? It takes a special kind of con man. But like, look, I'm not without flaw. I've done dumb things before. But maybe this is a generational thing. Doing a dumb thing on Instagram after doing a really dumb thing on Instagram strikes me as especially dumb. Right? Strikes me as, I don't even have words. How, why, what? I had a boss once, and I don't think it was a mistake. But I didn't maybe read the room. It was Duke was playing, I want to say Maryland, and it was like an ACC tournament quarterfinal or semifinal, and I was doing halftime. And at halftime, they go to interview Coach K, and if you remember, with the exception of the Final Four, Coach K wouldn't do those halftime interviews. I think he did it once or twice, and for the most part, he wouldn't do them. And he sent Chris Collins, who's now the head coach at Northwestern, out to do it. They come back to me in studio, and I'm with Scott Reese, who's our host, and Tom Brennan, a longtime legendary coach at Vermont. And, you know, it's like you have time for one quick comment, then you go to break, and then you come out and you do your halftime show. So they're, I think, trailing Maryland by a couple points at the half, not playing particularly well. And they go to interview Chris Collins. They come to us, and I was like, hey, no disrespect to Chris Collins. He's a contemporary of mine, a friend of mine, but why can't we hear from Coach K? And, you know, Scott Reese was apoplectic. He's like, well, why do you need to hear from Coach? He never does the interviews. It's like, well, because when they get into the locker room, you know who's not standing in front of the team and telling them what they need to do differently? Chris Collins. You know who is? Mike Krzyzewski. You know, and if it was some random regular season game, but this was the ACC tournament, the Duke Invitational, and he's Coach K, and so we get done with that little quick half, and they were like, let's find out what else ticks Doug Gottlieb off. Coming up next, right? It was like, it It was like the truth bomb was a fart and everybody was smelling it like, what are you doing there? So there's a red phone in the studio. Okay? And the red phone had never rang before, and it rings, and I pick it up. And it was the guy who hired me at ESPN. And he said, what the F do you think you're doing? And I was like, huh? Like, I'm doing halftime right now. Can I get back to you? He's like, why would you call out Coach K and Duke? We knew he wasn't doing the interview. He never does the interview. He's like, okay, I'm also allowed to say he should do the interview, am I not? And his response to me, and this was a big one, this was a kind of a life changer, a thought changer. It didn't necessarily change all of my behavior, but it was, what was the win in that? What did you win? You won credits from people who don't like Mike Krzyzewski that he won't do the interview? I was just trying to go from a basketball perspective, like he's not going to, it doesn't matter. What was the win? What did you actually win for saying that? So now let's fast forward that to Ja Morant. What's the win in flashing the gun? I'm still strapped? Congrats. I'm still dumb? Congrats. I still have no idea over the viral nature of the live button on Instagram. Like, look, his shoe came out after all of this took place. Okay, not this recent one, but the mid-season gun thing, and sold out. I know. Tried to get my son a pair. Why? Because I like the shoes, and I actually like Ja Morant, and I kind of bought it. Like, all right, he was just lost himself. He was feeling himself. We've all had a feeling ourselves moment. Like, honestly, the acting like you're a thug, acting like you're a tough guy, I would guess, all of us went through some moment in our lives. This is very much a guy thing where you tried to be something you weren't. I mean, dude, when I was 14, I had lines inside of my head like I was trying to be something I wasn't. I was getting in trouble in school because I was staying back and I was trying to be a badass. When I was in college, yes, I got in trouble there. But I remember I was at Notre Dame and there was a kid who walked around and he had long hair and he told everybody he's a surfer. I still don't know his name, but he was Surfer Dude. And I've told this story before, but there was a party and somebody bumped into his shells that he supposedly got from the beach in his room, and there were price tags on all the bottoms of them. And he got exposed. He came back second semester with clean cut, and he ditched the Surfer Dude image. We've all done it, right? But usually getting suspended in the NBA, getting told you're acting like an idiot, or you're trying to live a life or pretend to live a life which doesn't exactly have a long life expectancy. Like, nobody goes like, hey, you know what I'm going to grow up? I want to be a gangster. And that's movies, dude. You do notice that almost all those gangsters, like the one thing that's parallel to all those stories is at some point in their lives, they try to go legit. Why do they try to go legit? Because there's not a long lifespan for going gangster. In the dumbest things you've ever seen athletes do, that's an all-timer. That's an unforced error. That's the Russell Westbrook dribbling the ball off the court and then just dribbling it out of bounds for no particular reason. It's an all-timer. And it was kind of on a slow news day. There wasn't games the night before. There's one Game 7. Here's rapper Fat Joe. His thoughts on Ja Morant.
He's trying hard to get kicked out the NBA. And those guys that's with you, they not your people's job. They don't care. This is a problem we have with our community becoming famous because the people around you, they like that the girls is watching. They love the lifestyle, but they're not you. They didn't dribble the basketball in the snow on Christmas trying to figure out the Kobe moves or the Jordan moves. They didn't put in the work like you.
Here's Shannon Sharp.
I think a lot of people say I wanted me to come out here today and say I'm surprised, I'm shocked, I'm disappointed in Ja's behavior. And I'm not. I said before, the best apology is change behavior. And when he was going through all this diatribe about what he learned about being away from the game, Skip, and how important it was to him, I say, I see better than I hear. I heard everything Ja said. Now moving forward, I'm going to see if the behavior meets what he said. And clear right on. And so at this point in time, Skip, where I am, I'm not even upset at Ja. I'm not mad. I'm not disappointed. I'm not embarrassed. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. I'm disgusted by the people that defended him. Because that's what got us here. That's what got us here, Skip. Oh, man, Shadow, you hating on Ja. You were Uncle Tom, you rucker, you buck that.
I don't know who this is.
The same people that Ja in the comments, that Ja be liking.
Oh, these are Twitter people. Not Grizzlies.
No.
Okay.
The clicks and the mentions and the likes, why he does everything that he does. Skip, I need somebody to tell me the fascination he has with guns and feel that he needs to be on IG Live, that he needs to see people see him with that tool on him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All-time dumb stuff. Because all you got to do, and like, look, I know this firsthand. Like I said, there was one line people didn't like that I said when I was at CBS. And had I simply, once I got that job, been straight down the air, straight down the middle, and just smile and wave, happy to be, fat girl at the prom, happy to be there. You could have worked there for life. And so I understand how you can torpedo yourself with something, but it's not the first time for him. He just did this. It just happened a couple months ago. I don't even know.